What if I told you this entire house explosion can be traced back to one conversation? Because after watching today's feeds, I don't think the nomination ceremony was where this week changed. I think Angela lit the fuse, Devens took the shot, and now the entire house is dealing with the fallout. Let's chat about it. Hey everybody, my name is Danielle and this is Chatter Out Loud. I love chatting about Big Brother, and during the season that means digging into the live feeds. The televised episodes are edited to tell a story, but the feeds give us a chance to see the strategy unfold in real time. So let's talk about what stood out today, what it could mean for everyone's game, and a few things I'll be keeping my eye on. And if you want to keep up with my live feed updates, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. I plan to chat about Big Brother Season 28 all season long. First, current standing and positions of power. America voted Angela in the season's BB time capsule, the first one of the season. She lost the competition, which means she didn't win a power in the game, but she earned a punishment. Now she's stuck wearing an egg detective costume for the rest of the week. It was the same costume Vince wore last season. The new HOH for week 2 is Devens. He nominated Melody, Lyric, and Jason. The veto comp will be sometime tomorrow afternoon, Saturday afternoon, and hopefully it'll be much earlier than today's nomination ceremony. And the have-nots of the week are Jason, Rome, Barrett, Kamu, and Lyric. So what's changed since day 10 in the house? I'm learning that they refer to Mallory as the pipeline queen, and that's based on how she dominated the veto competition. Jason shared his secret with Rome about being on RuPaul's Drag Race. Jason has also been very emotional again today, crying a lot. It's wearing thin for me. Clearly, week 2 isn't going the way he expected with Lala's Angels. My take, he's frustrated because he's getting outplayed and duped right now. I never watched him on Drag Race, so I honestly wonder if he was this emotional there too. I just want the crying to stop. All right, the feeds were good today. We're saying chaos brewing, panic, backtracking, and I'm loving it. We did wait all day to potentially see the aftermath of the nominations, and we'll get there in just a minute. So let's chat about the social game dynamics. During the HOH competition, Chuck with no C, Rome, Barrett, and Lala were the first 4 out. It sounded like they were competing in elimination rounds. One thing that really stood out to me learning this was that Chuck with no C has been so eager to compete because he genuinely believes he's some strategic mastermind. But every conversation I watch tells me he's following someone else's lead. Usually it's Haley, who often echoes Kamu's strategy. But to me, Chuck with no C, he isn't leading anything. He talks a lot. He has a huge ego. And I don't see much independent strategy nor independent thinking from him. Let's get into Devens one-on-ones. All right, starting with D and Devens, they mostly celebrated his HOH win by jumping up and down, hugging each other. You know how that goes. All right, Haley and Devens. Devens told Haley that Lala had floated her name. Haley immediately redirected the conversation toward targeting Melody and Taylor. Chuck with no C and Devens. Honestly, there isn't much more to say about Chuck with no C. He talks a lot, but I still don't see much substance behind his game. And that's it. Lala and Devens. Lala seemed genuinely panicked when Devens won HOH. Truth be told, she should be. She immediately floated Haley's name as a nominee, but Devens used their HOH competition deal as cover to keep Haley safe. Overall, I don't think Lala helped her game in this conversation. Kamu and Devens. Kamu wanted to collaborate on nominations by bringing together the crossovers and Red Corner. Devens told Kamu Taylor and Yash were immediately off the table because he didn't want to nominate the same people 2 weeks in a row. Kamu reminded Devens that Melody had been targeting him, and from that point on, Melody quickly became Devens' primary target. Devens was again frustrated with Lyric constantly saying, "I don't know." He was talking about this to Kamu. Lyric constantly says, "I don't know," whenever he tried to strategize with her or talk game with her. And then Kamu floated Lala, Lyric, and Mallory, with Lyric as the backup option. Rome and Devens. Rome admitted he threw the HOH competition, and looking back after what happened this afternoon, I bet he wishes he hadn't. He offered Devens protection from the Four Seasons Alliance if he'd keep them safe even after inviting him into the alliance. At first, I thought Rome was maneuvering really well in this conversation. We also learned Melody originally chose Devens during the HOH competition, but once she realized they would become partners instead of eliminating one another, she wanted out because Devens was already her number one target. Then Rome volunteered himself as a pawn, which is a rookie mistake. It showed comfort and arrogance, and everyone knows pawns go home. Rome also asked Devens to protect Lyric and Jason while telling him Chuck with no C was his main target. Now, at that point, everything seemed to be falling into place for Rome until Angela walked into that HOH room, had her one-on-one with Devens, and completely changed the direction of the week. First, they celebrated his HOH win by jumping up and down, hugging each other, all of that good stuff. Then Angela immediately went into full game mode. She warned Devens not to trust Drew, saying he's aligned with too many people. She pushed Rome as a backdoor option because in her view, he controls half the house. She also floated Melody and Lyric as nominees. As they stood in front of the memory wall counting votes, Angela showed she had a really solid read on the house, especially Drew's position. The biggest takeaway, Angela completely changed Devens' thinking in that moment. She lit the fuse, and everything that happened afterward traces back to this conversation. Now let's fast forward. The crossovers and Red Corner alliances, aka the tool shed, they met in the HOH room to discuss blowing up Rome's side of the house. Barrett had been asleep, so Angela went to wake him up, accidentally waking up Rome in the process. Rome noticed everyone gathering in the HOH room, so he went up there, he knocked, nobody answered. So he pulled up a chair and waited. And then the confrontations began. Rome immediately realized something wasn't adding up. He questioned Drew about meeting with the tool shed. Drew once again explained that he never says no to alliance invitations, which is why he's socially everywhere in the house. I still think his real loyalty is with the three icons, and eventually that's going to catch up with him and hurt his game. Rome also confronted Angela and Dee. From his perspective, they're sitting inside the dominant alliance while actively trying to dismantle his side of the house. And by the end of it, Rome knew exactly where he stood. He is the target. And I have mixed feelings about this because less than 24 hours earlier, they wanted the house lines hidden, right? They didn't want anyone exposing where people stood. And that was the reason behind the 14-0 vote to evict Ashley, I thought. Then Angela again lights the fuse and suddenly everything is out in the open. And here's another thing I don't understand, or I don't think they've fully considered. The BB time capsule. It's going to have an impact to the game when the right person wins a power. So while everything that happened today makes incredible live feeds, good drama for TV, I'm not convinced it's winning Big Brother. I think Devens' move this week, it weakens his game more than help it, in my opinion. And before we get into the nomination ceremony drama, really quickly, Lyric and Mallory were in the gym. I literally started talking to my TV during this conversation. Lyric told Mallory that Rome told her he loved her. Mallory asked her what she said, and she admitted she said it back. Then Mallory said, well, how do you feel, Lyric said, I don't know. Maybe it's because we're all cooped up in the house. And before she even started the next sentence, I immediately yelled, yes, that's exactly why. It's not reality, it's Big Brother. And this showmance, it just continues to frustrate me, and I'm tired of looking at it. And finally, now, I don't break news with my updates, but I was brushing my dog, a Sheltie. They have double coats and they shed a lot. But I'm brushing my dog, and then I hear the feeds. It's like a leak of the HOH ceremony. And so I run over to the TV, and immediately I hear Angela and Jason screaming at one another. They're going back and forth. She called him the B word, and then I witnessed the BB28 Angela. She officially made her appearance. She was loud. She was front and center in her egg detective costume, and the optics were hilarious. And if you've watched Angela before during her first season, you know exactly what I mean. The emotions, she's crying with no tears. It's just so dramatic. And I told you guys, this subdued version of Angela in BB28, it was temporary. It was only a matter of time before that BB28 Angela came back. And in the middle of everything, all this screaming and yelling and going back and forth, someone yelled, "You're a terrible human being." It sounded like Kamu or maybe Rome. I couldn't quite tell. Emotions were everywhere. And before it ended, Devens, he said, he says, this ends the HOH, the nomination ceremony, the little spiel that they give. And I just found that to be hilarious because in the middle of everyone screaming, he ends the ceremony. It just was so funny to me. Angela was screaming. Angela was crying, so emotional. Lala was absolutely boo-hoo crying, repeating over and over that she felt stupid. Taylor was trying to console her. And I think she was crying so hard because it all went back to Rome's one-on-one with Devens. And Rome was really trying to negotiate and keep his people off the block. And Devens basically used Rome's words against him during the nomination ceremony. And from what I gathered, after Devens pushed back, they landed on keeping Lyric and Jason safe during their one-on-one. Or at least that was the understanding. In return, Rome would essentially return the favor. I won't put up someone you're aligned with. Anyway, they had this talk during the one-on-one, made this negotiation. And so Rome thought he was making a deal, but Devens used that against him and kind of laid that out during the nomination ceremony. And it hurt Lala's feelings. Anyway, during the nomination chaos, Kamu was trying to calm everyone down, saying, hey, cooler heads should prevail. Can everyone calm down? It just was nuts. Jason admitted, and he was yelling, I admit I'm a messy bee. Y'all, this was a lot. I was thoroughly entertained. And I'm looking forward to the edited version just to see the start of how this went on, exactly what Devens said, because they were rehearsing in that HOH room. Angela was dropping the mic and all of that. All right, so Devens is the HOH for week 2. His nominees are Melody, Lyric, and Jason. Devens delivered exactly what he promised, and that promise was chaos. BB28 Angela is back. The house lines are now crystal clear. Feelings are hurt, and they still have to play a veto tomorrow. I'm going to end my update here because I want to keep watching. And then I'll be back after the veto comp, and we'll see where the game goes next. Sunday night's episode should be really good. And that's all I have. I'll be back with another live feeds update sometime after the veto competition tomorrow. And now I want to hear from you. How do you think Devens' chaos will impact the game? You have to let me know your thoughts in the comment below. All right. Thanks for listening. and I'll talk to you next time.